Hello, hello. I'm making this video primarily for Tea with Karen's group on Facebook. But it's going to be on my YouTube because it's going to be so long. So we're expecting about a 15-minute video here. Welcome aboard if you're watching from YouTube. I hope you join us in the group if you're interested in tea leaf reading. These are based, I'll give you some more information at the end. This is based on a question. I'm going to give you my take on it. I posted it up as an exercise. I don't think I worded it well, however, because there was a question about that. So it says, how would you interpret this 9 box in regards to friends who haven't seen one another in a long time? The background is both are missing one another, and one is worried the other may not understand that canceling the plans was out of their control and they missed their time together. And it says people are sappy. Now, the person asking the question is the one thinking that the other one may not understand that the plans had to be canceled. They weren't able to talk to them directly about this and ask their feelings about it, hence the coin reading, instead of just saying, hey, my friend, blah, 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 blah. They were only able to say, hey, I have to cancel, yada, yada, I still miss you, hope we can get together soon, and wasn't able to get a reply back. So that is a better phrasing of the background. In terms of how I'm looking at it is, I know, you now know, I know who's who in the question, or who's asking which. To me, it doesn't matter who's who, because I'm not looking at people in here. I'm just looking for the vibe between them and what's going on, and that's going to kind of tell me where it's coming from. So you could pick a significator. I read this as a 9 box as you would with any other, whether it was tarot, Lenormand, however you choose to read 9 boxes. I tend to do this as like the upper, more intellectual. This is the middle, grounded, what's going on, what's in the know. This is more of a like future base level, to be sorted out line. We have the past, again, more of the present that's happening, things that are influencing the present, and this is the future, things that are things that are influencing the future, and the future outcome would be here. This is leading in, and this would be, the significator. And this would be her group if you'd like to join us to learn more about tea. So, having not picked a significator, I think it's great that the birds came up, because birds is a great symbol for communication. And we also have the dog, which is the ideal symbol for friendship. If this was reversed, it would change the reading a little bit, but I like that communication is center. It shows that it's a very chatty relationship, and they may even need to talk a lot, or that they're used to talking a lot, because that is the center. Leading into it, you can see that they're very connected, very emotionally connected, or very in touch in their feelings, have a good reputation with one another in the moon. So I tend to just go piece by piece, and then we can go row by row here. So we have a great friendship, we have very close emotionally. Here we have the butterfly. It's like they may talk about a lot of different subjects. It may, or their friendship may change a lot, and they may go with the change, because the butterfly shows a lot of change, transformation, and it's with the dog and the birds. And the birds with the cane shows that there's a very supportive communication, so I don't see that as being any type of an issue with misunderstandings. If anything, it looks very understanding. The birds and the cat is the only, well, I shouldn't say that. There's a few coins you could say are a little too much or a little worrisome here, but there's not a lot of negatives. So if anything, it's a little understanding of doing too much. So we have the cat, who can be a little finicky, but it's also, the cat is another friend sign. It can be a female friend, whereas the dog is a male friend. It can also just be more of female interests versus male interests, or just friends, multiple friends, etc. The types of friendships. This is a little more outgoing and like derp 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 derp, and the cat is a little more focused, planned out, but they can take their time and do their own thing. They can also be a little more finicky and a little more tendency to argue. So it's like the only real issue that I would see here, but I'm not seeing it as an issue. I think there's an understanding that there's a need for time here across that top line, but let's get to that later. So we have a very grounded sense of communication, that they know that they're going to be in each other's lives, very stable here with the anchor. And again, we have stability with the camel. This is long term, and this card, this symbol and coin as the lead out or the outcome shows long-term stability here with the anchor. So I'm not concerned that way. Now looking at the top line, it almost looks like there is a little bit of emotional finickiness. There can be a little bit too much. The Chariot is enjoying, and it's a good thing, but also too much of a good thing can give you a tummy ache. So, but again, that can be either that the friendship it's like, I love you, but we talk so much that I do need a little time out once in a while. Sounds like me. I talk a lot. I can do that. I can relate. I'm sure some people need some time out from me. Other people are just like, I'm off to the flame still. And I suspect that that's what these people are like, that, they spend a lot of time together. We know that they're like moths to the flame, but it just, it's okay. But they also understand that sometimes there are things that become too much and you have to step away. And this is in the future line. You can see this having to step away and deal with your responsibilities. And responsibilities could be another symbol related to anchor, or another key word related to anchor. And so here again, in this middle line of what's going on, there shows a lot of stability. You've got the stable communication, the loyalty. So nothing to worry about here. The bottom line, again, you're showing, things can come up, that there are issues that can come up with Cain. Cain can be challenges that you face. It could be medical challenges. There are a couple different things in here that look like it could be medical. But either way, that things come up. It can be a pattern that this person gets flighty, or has to change and has to adapt. I think these two coins together is a great representation of the idea of adaptation to challenges, because this can be a challenging coin as well. While this is long term and it's longevity, it also carries baggage, but that baggage has to be dealt with. I don't see anything negative. It's just like, this is life. Life has adulting, and adulting sometimes looks like this bullshit right here, this whole line, this knighting line. And now that we've gone through these lines, we can see in the past that the reputation of the friendship can be a little bit flighty, and they can also talk about a lot of different things, but again, it adapts. So we have adaptation here, all through there. And then, so this adapts. I think this other person is well aware, with this being in this past line, of how this person needs to deal with things, and that's fine. And here, more in this current line, current influences, they can do their own thing, and they're supportive. And I think they can also, this shows that, it might be a little too much at times, especially with this knighting here. It shows a little too much, or it could be too much, and not necessarily in a negative way, but just that stepping away needs to happen. And that could be on either party's side, that understanding when you have things that are going on, you have to take care of them, as well as, sometimes I don't always need to hear the novel of it. So sometimes it's one of those absence, the heart grows fonder. So it's not a negative thing, it just is, and it may even bolster the friendship over time and give you more to talk about. Like Mr. Rogers says, like when we come back together, we'll have more to talk about, and so will you. Looking at that future line, there's the abundance or happiness, the grounding, and longevity. So there's this person isn't going anywhere. It's like, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Even if there's too much going on, take care of your stuff and I'll still be there. So now we look at the knighting. If we knight the moon to the cane, it shows a support, an emotional support. We knight it also to the anchor, which is, again, it's very grounding. So we have these two grounding influences. We have the camel, which might be difficult, but it knights to dog and it knights to cat. So it does show there might be some difficulty, and this again shows where this person, it might be best to sometimes pull away, but it's not a bad thing. It's just, in the long term, it's okay. The butterfly, again, knights to the cat and to the anchor. So it shows whatever pulling away needs to happen, whatever like finickiness with the cat and as well as the butterfly, in the end are grounded and solid. Accepted would be a great way of putting these two together. You could also put these three together as there's acceptance here. There's acceptance and even joy for this acceptance here. So there's a lot of positives in this relationship. I think there's a lot of understandings that even when they're apart, that's sometimes how life is. So we can continue on knighting. I don't think we need to do that. But you can also look at the diagonals, the anchor, cane, dog, cat. So again, it shows the support through, it's like almost a finicky time. And this could be baggage through a finicky time, but it's like, it happens. And you look at the corners, the camel, the butterfly, the moon, and the cherries. Again, it can be a little too much. It can change, but long term it remains, it stays. So whatever emotional baggage there is here, they talk it out. But I think it's also just long term, and this is like very happy. This is, a combination of very happy conversations that just go on and on and on. They go on and on here, they go on and on there. They can change from one subject going down in a rabbit hole. They have a lot to talk about when they get together, and they really enjoy it here. It's going to be long term here. I don't see a lot of negatives there. Whatever negatives, there's going to be, yeah, I miss you a lot. It might be a little grumpy or finicky, but I understand that you need to take your time. So that's how I read this. There's probably some things that I'm forgetting. If you're in the group, I'm going to be posting a photo with some color-coded. It's going to look like a jigsaw puzzle, but we'll figure it out for people who are a little more visual or don't have time to watch the video, or who just have an easier time seeing it that way. And if you are on YouTube, welcome. Please join the group if you're interested in a tea leaf reading, and we hope to see you again. These are tea leaf reading coins by Karin Dalton Smith, Tea with Karin, that are available at tealeafreader.com. Her personal website, TeaWithKarin, is where you can book personal readings with her. She has a great reputation on Etsy. She's been an Etsy seller for a long time. You can find them there. Also, Tea with Karin, but she's, Etsy is taking a hit. We're taking a lot from a lot of the sellers there, which is why a lot of those sellers are moving to their own websites, which she has. But you can see on her Etsy that she's got great ratings and she's very trustworthy, and she's been around as a professional reader in the divination community in Australia for many, many years. So between her 3 websites. But if you go to tealeafreader.com, you can find this and many more divination tools. And she is running some sales right now. She's paying your taxes, as well as she's chipping in for a lot of the shipping fees. The shipping fees are astronomical, so she's been chipping in for those for a while. Keep in mind, this is coming from overseas. They come very quickly. So for our US mail, it takes things quite a bit of time to get from Los Angeles to New York. And her stuff gets from Australia to LA quicker than our US mail can. So do not be afraid of Australian mail. You can find these, the cards, and so much more at her site, and these are based off of tea leaf reading cups, which she also has. Now, one more thing in terms of this, when we're reading directionally with tea leaf cards. The charms I don't read so much directionally as I do where they're placements. The coins I also read the placements, but I do read directionally, and so that is why I've pointed towards the birds, towards the dog is very positive, towards the butterfly is very positive, the moon facing the birds is very positive, the camel looking up towards everything is very positive. If the camel was looking away, it would be more baggage-ish. The cane is almost being used by the camel here, so you can see the crutch or the longevity, the support in the longevity, I should say, because this could be baggage, this could kind of be baggage, but they're helping each other through the times. This is very neutral, this is neutral, this is neutral. This is again looking towards transformation, able to, if it was looking outwards, it could be more of a misunderstanding or chatter that goes in a different direction, but here it seems to quote unquote do the weave rather well, so to speak. So that's how I would add the directions into that. So I hope that helps. Any confusion for people in the group, and I hope that helps in terms of how I would pick this apart. I saw a lot of emotion in this particular reading, which is why I posted it up. I thought it was a great example of a larger reading, which these larger readings can be more daunting. But if you pick it apart little by little, you should not only get a lot of information and a lot of layers, but they should kind of match each other. They should kind of add up. They should all kind of, I've always said when you're doing a 9-box or even a GT, you should see repeating themes. If the theme doesn't repeat, or when it repeats, you know you're on the right course. So that's how I'm looking at baggage versus acceptance here, is I am seeing like the quote-unquote baggage is more life. I see life struggles, but it's not taken in a bad way. So like if the mask was here with the cane, I would see it as more of a making an excuse, but there's not with the cat, but there isn't. It's very open. It's very open. There's no mask. There's open dialogue here. So have a great day. Hope that helps. Wilma from Wilma's Alternative Solutions.